Good evening, everyone, and welcome to what is the final week of group stage for Ireland Esports Collegiate Series. How are we all doing today, lads? I am OBK9. I'm hyped for this. There's some serious games going on today. This is going to lock in playoffs. That's going to get us sorted. What's going to happen? Who's going to be first? Who's going to be second? Well, it's probably going to be TUD first, but who's going to be second? We do not know. With me, of course, is the one, the only Squavo. Squav, how are you doing, man?
I am very well, very excited for this week of games. Obviously, this is playoff day. This is where everything gets decided. So obviously super excited for that to all kick off. Obviously TUD needing just one win to lock their first spot, but this game that we're going to be casting right now has a lot of implications as to who's going to come second, and obviously you want to finish as high up as possible to make your playoff run begin just a little bit easier. So yeah, QUB here up against UCDA. Very excited for this one to kick off.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. I definitely think what's going to go on right now is definitely going to be some quality League of Legends. We've seen both these teams play, not necessarily against each other, which is interesting because both these teams I would pin for the second place team of the split. So they both had good games. I think I've seen QB lose twice, and funny enough, I think that's their only two losses were both on stream. So same with UCD, we have seen one or two of their games, but I'm pretty sure they won one of their games when we watched them. So interesting. I definitely think looking at the kind of play style that they kind of had, like they like to play it, I definitely think UCD would be my go-to pick for who I think will take this. Although I am interested in how QEB play it. They've got some really strong potential there with Spee, and I mean Kelko is playing very solid in the bot lane, and also we got the Wiggy in the mid lane. It's going to be interesting regardless. There's a bit of spice they can do. They have a lot of champions they can whip out, and I definitely think it's going to be an interesting game for game one. Squad, what are you thinking?
Yeah, this QUB team, affectionately known as Wiggy Wanderers, obviously kicking off really well. Have had to do a little bit of a TUD Apes Alpha roulette there with their two losses. That's just where the format kind of put them. These two teams never having matched up, despite being so high up in the tournament together, is very interesting. I do think UCD kind of do have the edge here if you just look on paper. Both teams obviously really strong, but like the main places to look here are you have your super fluid top side of UCD with Madamer's Chinese man and Pupikin on vegan, where we've kind of seen them consistently swapping around. And you look on the other side, then you have USSR 99, Spee and Wiglor. And I feel like this game is going to be decided in the top side. We had a lot of games in our previous broadcasts that were pretty much so like bot lane centric that it was the only thing that we could really talk about pregame. Whereas this game is going to be incredibly topside favored, and I'm really excited to see how UCD adapt to the draft because they are going to be on a red side, so they're going to have a lot of counter picking shenanigans to get up to. So it'll be interesting to see where Mata
Hi there.
and Peepov end up in their positions. So yeah, pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we're just getting into draft right now, as we see the Kesante. You were talking about this top lane, kind of how important it is in these games, and we see Kesante and Aatrox immediately banned away there for QUB. They are fearing that there's a Chinese man in the top lane. Well, it can be a bit of a flex, but yeah, Chinese man in the top lane, two champs immediately taken out. Nunu taken out in response against Spee. I mean, Nunu is a pretty horrible champ to play against. Kind of a lot that can be done, a lot of roaming, but yeah, definitely a lot of top lane bans coming out, and maybe we'll see a bit more Squab. Is there anything else you think maybe
Hmm.
could get taken away here that's priority?
Yeah, you probably have to ban the Garen on three. They don't ban the Garen on three. Interesting. Peepov obviously put bacon on vegan a massive Garen player. So I do think it's quite curious that it's not being banned. Maybe USSR 99 thinks that he has an answer to it, but we have seen him play it in both top lane and in the jungle position, and he has been quite a dominant threat on it. I do remember a game that there was a certain Ziggs on the MTU team that unfortunately did 60,000 damage and still fell victim to the Peepov Garen. So yeah, I really thought that'd get taken out. The fact that it is up is quite
They
curious,
first
but
pick it maybe?
I'm not quite sure. Yeah, they do go to Syndra.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit interested to hear what QB think. Maybe they think something maybe like a Vayne top lane. There are some strong picks that you could pick in response to the Garen, but at the same time, I guess it also leaves it up because you know potentially what Peebov could play, but at the same time, it also does lock UCD into playing a Garen into their comp, which maybe might not be to what they want to play in this game, especially if QB opt for a more teamfight heavy focused team. Maybe the Garen won't fit the comp as much. But it's interesting regardless. And he is going to lock it in immediately, Scrap. You were saying this. That could be a Garen in the mid. He could put a mid lane if they put Peebov mid lane. They could put Peebov jungle. even top lane. I've seen him play it in every lane. So yeah, it's a high priority pick, and I hope QUB have an answer for this because it was definitely the expected pick for UCD here.
Yeah, I had a couple of chats with people pretty recently, and he was telling me that he currently prefers Garen in the mid lane. Whether or not it does end up there does kind of depend on what Matamars is willing to do and sacrifice for people to get ahead. But yeah, it could go in all three lanes. It's super exciting. We do see a Vex there, so probably not in the mid lane, but jungle or top lane. I can't really see um Chinese man going into the jungle. So I do expect this to be in the jungle, unless there's some incredible shift that we haven't seen at UCD yet before. But yeah, pretty exciting all the same. Really excited to see people do his thing on Garen. We don't get to see it very much, and the fact that QBB have left it up in such a kind of important game for playoff implications is quite interesting.
It's definitely interesting to see them lock in here, and they are hovering the Nocturne. Like, looking in response, QEB's comp is already looking nasty. They got a serious amount of pick potential with the Syndra Nocturne, and they're going to mix it up with a bit more here as the Zaya getting locked in. And I mean, they've such high engage potential for the side of QEB. It's really going to be tough already for UCD. Although Garen does have that tenacity from the W or the Q, I believe. He does get some tenacity. There is a bit he can do, and I mean, if he gets ahead, he can just one-shot a lot of these squishy members, because so far QUB have locked a very squishy comp for this game. Interesting to see what UCD lock here. Maybe they go the tank route and put, why do you ask me, on a carry bot laner, which could be the play, and I mean, they lock in the Kai'Sa. Yeah, they're looking likely that this might be the play here, so not sure what QUB are going to ban in response.
Yeah, I think Kai'Sa and Vex is a really good combo just because the Vex dives, obviously CCs onto the enemy, and then the Kai'Sa can follow in that dive, and that is kind of what Kai'Sa wants to do. Not so much of the peeling back that Zaya wants to do, but rather just getting in there up in everyone's faces. And Vex does provide a really easy way to get in by fearing everyone around the target that they do jump in on. So it is nice for the Kai'Sa to have that Vex alongside, as we do see an Ornn ban coming out there against USSR 99.
Interesting pick. I mean, we saw one of the teams last week just use the Ornn to a lot of their potential. And you can see, like, once the ornaments start coming in some of these games, it gets very hard because the extra standing, like, even if it's like 1,000 gold each, the ornaments provide, you're giving like 5,000 gold to your allied team members. And when you're ahead, especially if Ornn gets to level 14 really fast and he starts putting out these ornaments, it's so much harder to crawl back into it once he starts putting them onto the bot lane, onto the mid lane. And as we can see, really, Ornn can be a real menace. Kled also being taken away to take away from some of this engage potential that QUB could have. Because to be fair, they're drafting some nasty engage so far. I wouldn't be surprised maybe see something like a Blitzcrank come out here for the QUB comp. Just get some really hard pick potential going on here. But there's an interesting pick in response. We do see the Seraphine banned away from Priston, who I assume I've seen him play a lot of enchanters, so we could see something come out here. Whether he wants to go with the enchanter route, or if he's going Kai'Sa, he could go with the Nautilus, be a bit more beefy, disengage, protect him against the Nocturne. There's a couple of options really available for UCD at the moment.
Yeah, we have seen Preston play a pretty consistently good Seraphine, so it is good that QB band that they have obviously done their homework. Janna comes out there and says so we have a Kai'Sa Janna lane and QB have support counterpick here. But obviously UCD's comp is still completely undecided because we don't know if that Garen is in the jungle or the top lane. So this is a very nice use of flex pick and really good draft adaptations from UCD here keep um keep QB guessing here coming into the draft. So it is pretty exciting. I'll be interested to see. I think the Milio is quite interesting, whether or not they actually
Ooh,
do go for it, and they do. I think that is one of the first Milios that we've seen on broadcast,
pretty
if
sure
I'm
it's the
not
first I've
mistaken.
seen anyway.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, not quite in line with what the Nocturne wants to do, kind of jump in. But as far as keeping your AD carry alive, it does do a pretty good job of that. So it'll be interesting. It kind of has to be rounded out at the top lane here. We'll see if Nocturne does get any support or if it is a glass cannon mission. As they do look for the Mordekaiser, I believe, um, which
Very
is
AP heavy.
yeah, it's a USSR 99 classic. He loves playing that, and obviously he thinks that it's okay to bring into the Garen. I don't see why they wouldn't have banned it if he thought that it wouldn't be. But yeah, it's an interesting draft all around.
They locked the Olaf to round that out as well, so that is going to be Peebob in the jungle on the Garen for this game, I believe. I don't think
Yeah,
they'll put the orange jungle or the Olaf jungle.
no, I do think that is a Chinese man Olaf top into the Mordekaiser. Obviously, that is a really good match for Olaf because of the way that the Ori interactions work and the fact that he can beat him up pretty early and then yeah, just ulti when the Death Realm comes down. So honestly, really UCD favorite draft in my opinion. I did think UB had to draft particularly well if they wanted to be favored going into this game, and the fact that they aren't in my opinion, haven't really done a great job of negating what UCD want to do in their games most of the time. That it will be kind of UCD favored going into this game, but I'm really interested all the same to see how especially Spee performs in this game on that Nocturne, because it doesn't look like he's going to be getting a lot of support.
I think it's interesting regardless. I actually like the Janna pick for UCD as well, especially if QUB were looking to get a bit of engage on, because with the Nocturne, and even just for the early game, once you kind of hit that level 6 spike and Nocturne starts to come online, that Janna can really do a lot of disengage to stop Nocturne just straight diving Kaisa, and it does give a bit more safety to the side of UCD, with a lot more squishy members, maybe the Vex as well, once she engages. There's a bit they can do, but regardless, yeah, both comps are very interesting. I really am not too sure exactly where they kind of go with it, but I definitely think in terms of what has one simple job, I kind of like what QUB are doing. It's simple enough. Just get in, engage, and have a fight. But yeah, UCD have the tools as well with disengage. They've got Garen for, I don't know, I guess really just comfort. But regardless, it's going to be interesting. Who would you say would be your kind of favorite draft at the end of that now? Would you be UCD
Oh
focused
yeah,
yourself now?
UCD 100%. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think if QUB, if that QUB Nocturne, I know it was picked so early, and the Jarvan was banned as well as the Nunu, so it's all about kind of comfort for Spee. But if that was, I know he's one of their better players, so it's kind of hard to like pivot over to the likes of a Maokai or Sejuani. But I think their compositionally it would make a lot more sense. But the fact of the matter is that Spee has to be a big performer for QB, and for that he has to play a carry that can get fed. And the Nocturne was the next best up. So yeah, it's interesting, but I do think UCD might have the upper hand here coming out this draft phase.
Welcome everyone to game one of the day. We got a spicy one on our hands. QUB going up against UCD, a potential second place matchup here. One to watch out for once we get into these playoff stages. And I mean, I'm really hyped for this, lads. I am looking forward to the start here, Squab. What are we thinking? A bit of early cheese, maybe?
Yeah, it looks as if UCD were going to look for something there, but they opt not to. USR kind of sniffed that one out, so we are just going to go standard here. The team's lining up pretty much as expected. We did think Manamars was going to be the mid laner going into today, and he does remain so. There will be no swap today, like there was on a couple of other days. Interesting to note that Olaf going the ghost here, really wanting to pressure USSR 99 in the top lane, doesn't go TP here, so UC might find themselves outnumbered at certain dragon fights or whatever if it does come down to it. But hopefully the what they get from top lane will negate that that need for that teleport.
Some interesting stuff going on here. I also think, especially since like cleanse isn't really needed in some of these bot lanes, it's interesting. Because you see, why do you ask me going for the heal instead of the cleanse? You see Kelko also opting for the ghost as well. So it's kind of nice to have these more defensive summoners, especially for why do you ask me, since he's probably going to be early ganked by this Nocturne. It's kind of nice to have that heal.
Yeah, for sure. That heal is pretty important. They do also prison with the exhaust in that bottom as well as going to glacial augment on Janna. Pretty standard stuff there. The ghost, interesting with the Kelko, will probably come in handy when that Vex could be jumping all around the place, and to maybe run away from Garen, that we do expect to have quite a bit of gold, as Pivov is rather practiced on the champion in in the past, and we'll be able to see how that one plays out as a bit of trading going down in the mid lane. But if you just look at these bot lane matchups, what do you think is going to be outstanding here? Is there any particular favorite in this bot lane?
I think definitely early on Xayah is fairly favoured with that Milio as well. Like once kind of a lot of the kind of extra range comes in, a lot of poke potential, I definitely think Xayah can do bits early on. Although I also think if Kaisa snowballs out of control, it could be a bit handier, but I just think with the Janna, they can't really do as much as if she was playing with something like a Nautilus. I think she's kind of crippled herself there for the early game.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I think the way in which the Zai can operate here kind of has more agency than maybe Kaisa. Kaisa really needs to begin farming, but they do have the push here early on to UCD. Maybe as we expected, obviously. I did say that UCD probably the more proficient of the two teams, and it is kind of playing out in the lanes. We have a 7 CS lead now in the top lane. 4 Chinese man, and the waves are neutral as well. So yeah, just showing that Olaf matchup is really favored for Olaf.
Olaf is a very tanky boy. Bit annoyed he didn't run the Brolaf skin though. That has got to be my favorite. I'm kind of annoyed he doesn't run it. But then again, also USSR 99 didn't run the Project Mordekaiser, which I also think was a big misplay by him. And meanwhile, in the mid lane though, Wiggler might be going down. Darren putting that E down, spinning to win right now. Flash from Wiggler. It's going to be enough. He is getting knocked back, but the first blood goes over to Madam Mars in that mid lane, and a really nicely done play from UCD there.
Yeah, there's no gank that quite beats walking up slowly and hitting the silence. Spinning to win there as well for Pibov. We were worried about this game getting ahead. Now he definitely might.
He might have been that more than he can chew here. A lot of damage coming out there. Meanwhile, on the top lane, the Chinese man fighting USSR, grabbing that axe. Is he going to go for the kill? No. But the Nocturne trying to kill Pibov. We're panning bot lane for some reason. There's some serious action happening, but it doesn't matter because Pupeg and the Vegan does get out, but does have to blow his own flash in the process.
Yeah. Yeah, it does use the flash off screen there with thanks to the directed camera, but we do see more action in the top lane.
That Olaf passive coming in clutch, and that's a kill going over there to Chinese man. Outplay potential for days. Meanwhile, in this bot lane, though, some serious poke potential, but Chinese man might not be out of it just yet. Spee getting the move speed. Flash from Spee. Can he get the kill? He's taking tower shots. Is it enough? He's trying to get the kill. He does get it back, but does he go down himself from the tower shots? No, he does not. And that's going to be a kill back in response for QUB.
Yeah, even after that kill goes over, the Chinese man on the side of UCD will be incredibly happy there. Has such a massive CS lead and now got a kill on the Mordekaiser as well. In a matchup that is already so heavily favored towards Olaf, to get that outstanding lead early is going to be very, very bad for USSR 99 now having no sums either, and will be incredibly susceptible. He'll get hit by one axe on the undertow, and it could be lights out for him. So he's gonna have to play extra careful in this bot lane, and his team will be telling him to play safe, but it's a very hard job playing up against an Olaf.
Definitely think early on it's really tough, especially at that level 6 stage where he starts to get the disabling slows, and he starts to get a lot of these early kind of like items. He gets so much attack speed from his raw passive. It's just a lot. But meanwhile, in his mid lane, Wiggler, let's get 1v1 right now by Madam Mars, and Madam Mars just dumpstering Wiggler right there.
Yeah, these two players incredibly well acquainted with each other, and I don't think Wiggler is going to be happy with the performance that he's putting up so far. But this isn't the first time that we've seen Madam Mars play Vex, and the outside data would tell you these teams have been scrimming each other a lot. And it looks to me as if UCD might have got the better of the data. QUB thinking that they didn't really have to go anywhere near that Garen. Obviously, that Garen's off to quite a good start, getting Madam Mars ahead, and then Madam Mars uses the lead that he accrued with help from Pibov and just executes the solo kill there on Sindra. Really lovely work.
Definitely good so far. 2-0-0 on this Vex. Honestly, Madam Mars is really showing up at the moment versus Wiggler. And I mean, Wiggler is I'd rate him quite highly in terms of the mid laner so far. So it's really nice to see Madam Mars really just show his proficiency in some of these champions. Especially since, as far as I remember, I'd know him more as a top laner. So he's playing very well so far. But Spee going to find Priston. Maybe something comes out here in the spot lane. He's going pretty aggressive, but he doesn't opt to take the fight. Meanwhile, though, Pupeg and the Vegan just doing the dragon right now. Nocturne kind of getting a bit caught out there. He's not level 6 though. That's the thing to keep in mind here, is as soon as he hits level 6, he had an option there, but unfortunately could not get that level up.
Yeah, just not quite 6 yet, still level 5 on Spee, and yeah, that is, just a little glimpse there. We saw it, it seemed pretty inconsequential, but that is a glimpse into what Spee's game's going to be like. That Janna pick into the Nocturne from Priston, his beloved Seraphine off the board, but still picks up that Janna and is going to be really, really useful in negating all of these Nocturne engages, because we did talk a lot in draft about, they opted for a Emilio and a Mordekaiser as their support and top laners. Those are the positions that you really, if you're going for engage jungle, you really want another set of engage from either your support or your top laner. Instead, they look to support their carries more, and if it's just Spee jumping in by himself, if they don't land a Syndra EQ or anything like that, then that Janna is going to be torture for him to deal with.
Definitely think it's going to be a lot tougher towards the mid game. We do see in the CS department, it's all relatively even bar the top lane right now, where Chinese man's currently sitting with a nearly 20 CS lead up on USSR 99. But overall, it's not too bad in the CS department for both teams here. There's still a lot of angles. No one's really got their lead just yet. Maybe a bit UCD, but not enough to really matter at the moment. But we do see Chinese man getting a lot of damage down there onto USSR. He can pull the trigger at any time. He does have the Ragnarok available as well if he wants to really pull that trigger.
Yeah, USSR so far doing pretty well to negate what looked to be an incredibly disastrous start, which would have been a lot worse if Spee hadn't come up and killed Chinese man on the rebound. But all the same, he's been doing better than expected here. He picks up a couple honeycurds there to keep himself healthy. But they're both level 8. He hasn't been conceding CS at a ridiculous rate. So it's not looking great, but it's also not looking terrible. They're by no means out the gate here yet. So
yeah, the paranoia. Spee going in with the paranoia there. A lot of damage coming through. Death Realm is not going to be popped, not even needed really, as he does take out a Chinese man. Meanwhile, though, they're trying to look for their kill back in response. Flash from Leaf there to try and stay alive. Xayah popping the Feather Storm, but is it going to have enough damage? He does root someone, but it's not enough to stop the Vex. Meanwhile, the rest of the team still going ham, but Bacon and Vegan does have ulti available if need be. He pops it there, but they don't get any members of QUB. Kelko maybe trying to get something back in response, but a Tornado gonna deny that opportunity.
Yeah, really impressive work there from Kristen to recognize that he had the Glacial Augment and back them into the wall there with his Janna ultimate. A really unique use of the Janna ulti, shows the proficiency on the champ. But with the Milio ulti and the Summoner heal, they aren't able to get anything. People out there using his first ulti as a failure. And now it'll be first tower going over here to USSR and Spee. And Spee's done a really good job of recognizing where the map is falling apart. And doing a really good job to figure out where the map is going wrong and really negating that. So all of a sudden we see Olaf not in as great of a position as we once saw, and Spee looking pretty primed to really put his stamp on this game.
Definitely think Spee's showing up so far, and a game that kind of seems to start quite rough for the side of Wiggy Wanderers is starting to look a bit better. But meanwhile, they are still a 2-0-0 Madam Mars, and as you see, Wiggler trying to get the kill back in response, does have the Unleashed power available. Is he going to go for the execute? Does he have enough mana? Yes, he does. Was he going to pull the trigger? No, he is not, though, and Madam Mars going to get away to safety. Skin of his teeth, unfortunately.
Yeah, and maybe not enough splinters there from Sindri to really justify using the ultimate there with the last of his mana. Instead opts to push in the wave and take the added pressure there on Madamars. But it's nice to see Wiggler kind of he is a little bit behind on Madamars here and did get solo killed, but still playing the Syndra, still scaling up, and this game looking a lot better for QUB than it was roughly 5 minutes ago. They're able to play weak side bot really well, and that's what the Milio is there for. So executing on a game plan here, perhaps going super safe in the bot lane with the Milio and the Xayah, and getting out of some pretty dangerous spots to put QUB ahead.
Yeah, I definitely think so far. What's nice as well is Kelko and Leaf aren't even behind. I know that it's been a bit tough in the mid lane for the Wiggler, but bot lane going even is probably more beneficial for QUB here, because Kai'Sa's still got to wait a bit to get some of these items. Xayah can do a lot with a Noon Quiver and an ulti if she needs to.
Yeah, that is very true. We are seeing a bit of a yard sale kind of build here from the Mordekaiser, obviously recognizing that he needs the tabbies and the Oblivion Orb to survive the Olaf and his healing. He needs that other bit of armor as well, and with the Amptome and the Giant Stone, looking probably towards a Rylai's, if not a Demonic Embrace. They both have the same item build anyway, so looking pretty good now for them, as we do see a fight potentially breaking out there. These trades looking a lot better for Mordekaiser.
It's a bit like Pawn Stars in that top lane. Best you can do is a Oblivion Orb and a health item. Good luck, guys. It's been unfortunate though for the side of USSR.
That's all we can do, I'm afraid. But yeah, has a wave now. The only thing is the Olaf now has the full Ground Hydra and looking straight down to that ball.
You see Bacon and Vegan going hyper aggressive there, but the nicely knockback there does mean that Madam Mars and Bacon and Vegan get nothing for the troubles, but they might get a dragon. The remaining members of QUB not opting to fight for this dragon so far, and we do see Nocturne pathing towards that top side as well. Maybe they want to potentially try somewhere else, but at the moment it's a bit interesting because dragon is meant to be done here, but it's not done fast enough as uses this R99. Might try and get a kill in response. Death Realm popped, but Bacon and Vegan's away. But what is going on there? Why is the Olaf on his own? Nearly dies to the Unleashed power. And right now, USSR 99 perfectly timed out of the Death Realm. And in comes the Paranoia. Spee looking for a kill. Looking for maybe another as well, as we do see Olaf trying to get a kill back in response to UCD. But does he have the damage? No, he does not. Double kill for Spee and UCD. It's going oh so wrong. But they do get one back. They do take out USSR. Luckily. But regardless, it's a 1-for-3 in favor of Wiggy Wanderers. And that was really nicely done off a dragon for UCD.
Yeah, QUB Wiggy Wanderers really making me eat my words here about their composition. I suppose the only engage you really need when you're in a pickle is to press the Death Realm and go in there. Death Realm's the Garen there, who is still pretty squishy, obviously playing in the jungle, not having as much of an accelerated build as a top lane Garen would at this point in the game, so does end up being pretty squishy and is able to kill him. Comes out of the Death Realm and gets a lovely present in the form of Chinese man there, also being very low, forces out Janna ulti as well. And from that, Spee looks to take over. Ulti's on the onto the Vex, and then is also able to kill, get the last hit on Chinese Man as well.
Nothing there for the side of UCD though, and I do agree, it's a bit tough. And I also think what was very detrimental there was how it started. Chinese Man fighting 4 people on QUB on his own. He was just in a spot, I don't know where he was trying to be, but it just was not the play when his whole team was so far behind him as well.
Yeah, so if we do take a look at the landscape of the game, obviously the Mordekaiser are still very far behind on CS terms, but in terms of how the matchup is going, getting counterpicked to such an extreme level and still coming out of there with not that much of a deficit, still going to be very useful in this game, is very good. And yeah, just Wiggy Wanderers looking incredibly strong going into this, you know, approaching the mid game, as we do. You know, we normally take the 14-minute mark as the mark to look at how the game is going, as there might be another engage here.
Chinese Man getting popped into the death realm, and Shpee and the boys trying to get a little kill back. Can he do anything? No, he cannot. Chinese Man gonna be taken down. Doesn't have a turret, and I mean, he should have expected it when the Rift Tower was spawning right now as well, that maybe, maybe Nocturne would like to pass top lane, so needs to keep an eye on his map awareness here a bit, as we do see Nocturne going to go for that Rift Herald and maybe push it towards this top lane after he takes it, because USSR has a big way pushing in, and Chinese Man's not up for 12.
Yeah, Shpee really cashing in the dividends of something that he set up a long time ago. Obviously took out that top lane tower on the 10-minute mark, and then, you know, recognized that Olaf does have to overextend to make any kind of a play on the Mordekaiser, or even to pick up that farm with the way that the wave is being managed by USSR 9. So it does just recognize the opportunity and does go in. Obviously the Olaf does do a great job of chunking out the other 2 members, but obviously when you're playing 2v1 like that, it's very difficult, as we do see Mordekaiser pick up his Ruralized. So it's gone from bad to worse now for the side of UCDA, and they're facing their own uphill battle now.
Yeah, they're currently down 2,000 gold nearly here, and I mean, it's not much of a goal lead, but from a game that started so well for UCD and looked like put them firmly in the driver's seat a bit, it's a bit odd to see them kind of hemorrhage it back and eventually start losing these fights, as QUB just seem to play it a lot better. A lot of them is due to this man right here, Shpee, and he's 6-0 at the moment. He says, no, Wiggler, you're not getting my kill. 6-0, taking out that Vex, and Madam Mars, who started off 2-0, is now 2-2.
Yeah, Shpee says, lock in Garen as many times as you want, put me on my Nocturne and let me thrive. Doesn't really feel any threat from the enemy jungler at all. You know, Garen's just looking to farm and try and accrue a lead of his own, but we do see the 2 of them clash now. Yeah, a lot of damage coming through there. Garen running away with his tail between his legs there. Nocturne doesn't push for it. That's completely fair, but maybe he should have, considering USSR 99 has really pushed in this top tier turret, and he's rotating down at the moment, but he has stopped. We do see a lot of stuff coming in. Killer Instinct getting popped there from the Kaisa. Look for the kill. Gets one onto Wiggler. Can he get another one? Maybe he does, because UCD are here, and Shpee is on his own. They're looking at a juicy shutdown, but in come the members of QUB. Unfortunately, it does look like Leaf went a bit too far forward, though, and there's no one there to help him. And what are they doing right now? QUB, they were going so well for you. Why are you going so far down at the moment? But that's it, and that's going to be a 3rd dragon potentially for UCD in this game that's been fairly flip-floppy now. Yeah, when you ask me, really he's deciding that he needs some gold in his pocket, so Flash is in there and looks to engage on to Shpee. Really well played by High Person as well to hit not only the tornado on the Milio, but also onto the side of Shpee, as we do see USSR take out another one.
Does get taken out himself. Jesus, that was very unfortunate, and I think, but why do you ask me? He's not going to be too disappointed. He did just pick up a Rage Blade there as well on that back, so he's 2 items strong now. Yeah, he gets shutdown.
Does give a shutdown over as well. But yeah, just as I was saying, really well played from Hyman Preston in that team fight there, hitting a double tornado and a beautiful ultimate so that Shpee can't get to the blast zone on time, hits it over, so Shpee gives up a massive shutdown now, 6-1. And no shutdown to be seen for him as well. So the game kind of equalizing a little bit. Still a healthy gold lead for QUB, but it's all about this 3rd dragon now for UCDA. They want to be on this whole point, and they're going to engage.
Oh! Paranoia getting popped there from Shpee. Looking for that engage angle. TP going to come through there as well for USSR 99. UCD, are they all there? Not just yet. They're all coming in, but do they want to take this fight? Because right now, it's the 1st dragon. Do they want to bother? They could just give this up, but no, they're looking for something. Kristen doesn't have an ulti. They don't really have an engage angle, but they're looking for something anyway, and they get Leaf. Out comes the Featherstorm. 2-man route there for Kelko. He's kiting back as far as he can, but it doesn't matter. Double kill for Bacon and Vegan. We do see as well, QUB are so low. Down goes another. Down goes Syndra, and this is going all awry for the side of QUB as UCD looks so strong and pick up a 3rd dragon. Whoa, and that ended a bit differently than what was expected.
Two top lane mains by trade, Manamers and Pbov, both recognizing that there was a very vulnerable bot lane there in Kelko and Leaf. Both decide to turn onto them, hits the Vex ulti there from Manamers, and goes flying onto Milio, forces the Zaya ulti out, and then Pbov does not give up chase. And you know, Pbov says, you know what, we're not even really concerned about this dragon. I want the gold that I need to carry this team. Then he pans his camera over to the side, and Chinese man is wreaking havoc on the dragon. They're taking out Wiggler. So yeah, they do end up, they get everything. They get 4 kills, and they get their 3rd dragon soul point now on the side of UCD. You know, approaching this fight, so it's going to be very exciting.
Definitely think it's very interesting, because what I thought was going to be a trade for UCD in maybe trading this dragon for a couple of exit kills after they try to get out, it ends up being 3 kills for UCD and the dragon. Like, that was as good as you could have hoped for, really, for UCD. And here comes the paranoia, though. Something's coming in. A lot of damage coming through into this Janna. Does look like Kristen's going to go down. Are they going to save him? Exhaust comes out himself, and he uses the Janna tornado to lock him out. Really nicely done, and Spee gets nothing for that.
Yeah, Janna disengage is Janna disengage. Do apologize as well. It is the Hex Tech Soul that we're looking at in this game. The HUD was lying to me. So yeah, they are on soul point now for Hex Tech Soul. Iron Person does a very good job of disengaging Spee. Spee now no paranoia as the Baron's spawning up in 20 seconds. There probably won't be contests this early on, but we do see a kill completely off screen where Chinese man does take out USSR 99. So yeah, a lot of pressure there from the Chinese man, still recognizing that he is king on the solo.
B right now is looking so good early on. He's trying to force engages now at the moment and trying to get something back. I definitely think you're right. Like, that Hex Tech Soul, because it was such a valuable draw being the Hex Tech, it's just so good for UCD, because that's the best soul, and it's really good for all the champions. And as we see here, Spee about to learn why. He's getting taken out there, and that's going to be one, potentially, maybe more, looking for UCD right now. And it's all going so wrong for QUB in what started off to be a really nice turnaround and really nicely played early to mid-game for QUB is now kind of getting a bit worse. And as this game scales, it's only going to get worse for QUB, really, because UCD have some nice scaling champs of their own.
Yeah, I do think it's quite interesting that with Spee dead and Mordekaiser having no TP, that they didn't just immediately turn onto the Baron and try to force a fight. But instead they do opt to play it a bit safer, get their gold, get their items, as we do see a Deadman's Play fought on the side of the Garen, and the Olaf just really smashing the side lane can force a 1 or 2 players to come down to try and contest him, and that is when the Baron dance will begin. So still, we could see some pretty good macro here from UCD, but yeah, opting not to flip the Baron there so early, obviously very early in the game to be doing a Baron. So they do decide that it would be better off not, but we do see a Hexgate here from Pbov.
Do you see something come out here? Pbov looking for a lot of damage. Wiggler gonna go down. He's gonna killing spree at the moment, and Pbov has a lot right now. Deadman's played a bit of damage, but the paranoia gonna come out there. Not going to get the Janna though. Janna is just getting out of Spee every time he tries engaging on her. And right now, Spee's kind of just wasting these paranoias so far. He's not getting anything for it, and UCD really have nothing to fear at the moment. And if they don't fear Spee, what really have they to fear? Because they're just destroying everyone else at the side of QUB.
Yeah, we were talking draft about whether or not that it was worth it really leaving off this Garen for you know, up against Pbov. Obviously it's his #1 champion, but if you take a look at the XP, he is 2 entire levels up on Spee. So you know, he knows what he's doing on that champ. He knows his win condition, getting as much goal as possible to accelerate himself ahead of the curve in this game, and has done so to great effect, clearing his jungle and clearing side waves as well. Just incredibly far ahead now on the Garen, so he will be a nightmare for Wiggy Wanderers to deal with, as they have XP deficits pretty much across the board now, so these fights are going to get a lot more difficult as we are 1 minute from the Soul.
Definitely going to be harder right now. Soul currently going to go. It's going to be a Hex Tech, which, as I was saying earlier, Hex Tech already in Plo plays like the most contested Soul. On top of the fact you've got a Kai'Sa, a Garen, and an Olaf with a Hex Tech Soul, that is so good for UCD. I think if I was QUB, I'd probably be FFing at that point. But sure, look, maybe they take this fight. Maybe they get something back. Maybe they get into this game. But at the moment, UCD are the ones controlling this jungle.
Yeah, for a comp that really enjoys running straight at you, a Hex Tech Soul would be really good for the slow that it provides, but we might see a catch now onto USSR 99. USSR
99, not expecting anything. Vex is going to go in there, going to pop that ulti, trying to get a bit of damage coming out here. It does not matter. Kelko getting some nice roots out. In comes the Syndra. UCD maybe a bit aggressive here. And in comes the Paranoia, and this is going a bit differently. QUB picking up 2. Can they make it 3 though? But Chinese man on his own. He's looking for his own kills back in response. Doesn't find the Mord, and does get kited out, does get taken down anyway. 3 dead right now, and Spee wants the other 2. Really nice use of the Hex gate there, but doesn't matter because Put Bacon and Vegan is so strong anyway.
Yeah, Spee getting a bit overexcited there, deciding to hop in the Hex gate, but it kind of proves detrimental because I don't know if they can finish off this Dragon in time, but P-Bob does decide not to contest it, leaves it up to them, despite them not having a jungler. Instead decides to clear the mid-wave because of that team deficit. So yeah, just denying soul point there, or denying the soul our Wiggy Wanderers there. That fight going really well. Really well played by USSR 99 to put the Garen straight into the death realm to stop that spin. And then once that Garen front line is gone, why do you ask me, is completely exposed, and Kelko just starts wailing on him and hits a really nice Feather Storm as well. So yeah, QUB showing that they're not dead in this game yet. While it might be an uphill battle, you know, they've climbed plenty of hills before.
Definitely interesting. It does show why both these teams are currently 6-2, only dropping 2 games. So they're both on equal footing with each other, at least standing kind of game-wise here. But we do see UCD looking for a kill onto this Mordekaiser. Not sure whether he's going to do it. And I think they're going to not go in too far anyway, especially with Spee top lane. Maybe it wouldn't work out so well for UCD. But I think really the main objective on the board, Baron is up right now, and you can see right there, Chinese man and the boys looking for wards around this Baron pit.
Yeah, I just can't help but notice that that deficit in experience there for Spee. Still 2 levels down, was 3 levels down until he finished his top side there. But you know, that Garen still has farm to do. He is going to show himself here on bot side, so if QUB do recognize this, they could start the Baron because they see the jungler in the bot side, and they maybe look to do that, just that.
At the moment, they're looking for something. Syndra maybe finding Put Bacon the Vegan, but does no damage. Not really anything to do here, but QUB start that Baron. They know the jungler is bot side, and the TP in from Syndra means Put Bacon the Vegan not going to be there in time. He's coming close though, he's nearly there. Vex lands something, Vex lands the engage. Nice bit of fearing going on there, but Spee still in the Baron pit. Do QUB want to disengage? A really nice pull going out there from the Mordekaiser. Serious damage coming out with the Feather Storm. Priston's super low. Priston's dead at the moment, but doesn't matter as we see USSR trying to get something back in response. No, because down goes Chinese man, and QUB start to take the fight, and they take it completely, and this goes so much better. You do see the Killer Instinct is available right now for the Kai'Sa if she does want to go in. Does land the W into leaf. She's going to take it. Is she going to get anyone here? Maybe not, but they're so low. What do you ask me to do there? But Put Bacon and Vegan stepping up. Gets 1. Can he get 2? No, he cannot. And that's a shutdown going over to Spee.
Yeah, you can only Garen ulti 1 member of the team there. They are going to turn back onto this this Baron here, are hoping that the healing will do wonders, but I didn't really think it would. Yeah, massive fight there. Kelko plays it really well, a really well-timed Feather Storm, and hits another massive root. And you know, a Garen XP lead doesn't really matter if the Garen's not in the fight, and I thought it was an incredibly weird decision to show on bot side there to try and approach Wiggler, who, you know, has plenty of self-heal, was never really going to do anything.
TP as well.
Yeah, so you know, P-Bob shows himself, and you know, Spee and the boys recognize that, immediately turn onto the Baron, force a winning fight. And yeah, USSR 99 buying so much time for QUB in these fights, like face stacking 3 people in the back, using the ulti to get a little bit of time to heal up as well. It's just really well played there on the side of Wiggy Wanderers, and yeah, they're looking pretty strong again going into this. Spee catching up on XP somewhat, maybe just a level and a half behind now, but once he clears his top side, he should be good to go. But they might be looking for another Baron play.
They're clearing the wards right now, but we do see Put Bacon the Vegan finally around that top side of the map. Maybe he does something here after he does this red, but QUB firmly in the control here to try and get some vision for this Baron at the moment. Spee is near this mid lane. They do want Priston. Something I will say as well was the first person they caught out that fight was Priston, which was such a good maneuver as well, because taking it to disengage immediately was so beneficial for QUB there, and especially for Spee.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if the Jan is there, it's really hard for Spee to jump in, but the fact that he was gone meant that it was time for Spee to go in. I thought Matamars landed a really nice Vex engage as well, but it just wasn't enough. Hit 4 people, but just no follow-up there for him, and just gets popped by Kelko pretty much as soon as he jumps in. And yeah, still, you know, why do you ask? He's still ahead in AD carry items. P-Bob still ahead on XP, still 2 levels up. You're kind of wondering why these fights are going so poorly for UCD, but nevertheless, they have been going the way they have, and we do have a dragon now in 45 seconds, so it could be time for another massive fight. You know, they can't give up the Hex Soul because these fights will become pretty bad for QUB.
Definitely think so, and they're kind of relying here on a lot they can do. I mean, Milio also has the Breath of Life, which can get rid of that CC as well. You got the Cleanse and the Milio ulti as well, which is also something nice to have when you're playing against something like Vex to get rid of the fear, or maybe to remove, well, mainly just Vex fear. But regardless, it's nice that you give the range to the Xayah as well. So there is a lot that QUB can do with their comp. Admittedly, you know, it's all reliant on Shpi getting a really sick engage, which he does look for right now. I'm seeing, can he do anything with it? No, he cannot. And that is a Nocturne ulti down, which is huge for UCD.
Yeah, Mordekaiser does also use the TP there. Everyone in this game recognizing that this dragon is going to be a massive turning point for either team. So, you know, all signs are to go for a fight to break out here. It's just a matter of who gets the best catch. QUB are looking for something here. Sindra trying to zone, put Big and the Vegan off this dragon. Not going to work, unfortunately. Does land the stun. Is he going to do in on this? No, he is not. Sindra does have the ulti. We also see the Feathers come available and the Milio ulti if need be. USSR getting poked out at the moment. Missing that, unfortunately. But right now, both teams currently just chilling. Always are alright, but really nice knockup from Jana. That means UCD go in. Down goes one. Milio ulti going to get used as well. USSR death realming as well. Trying to do something with Big and a Vegan, going to take out USSR 99 potentially, but no, because he's a fast boy, it doesn't matter regardless. Yeah, USSR, we might see the Olaf back here, does use the flash, but it goes down anyway. The Syndra ulti there with the execute, so we do have a 4v4 situation potentially, depending on how quick Mordekaiser can get back, but Shpi is down. There will not be any hope of a steal here, I think, for the side.
Priston? Oh, Priston got taken out. And Leaf is about to get taken out as well. We do see the root coming through. Really nice root there from the Xayah, but overall, it's going so much better for the side of UCD.
Yeah, just going wide there on the Vex ulti as well. But Hextech Soul for UCD Leviathan A. And they are looking, all of a sudden, they've lost the last 3 fights, but come up big in that one with a massive 4-man tornado there from Priston. And then P-Bob says, all right, all systems go. Flashes in there, and Shpi dies to the Vex pretty soon after, so it is a massive swing now for UCD. That Elder Dragon not going to be up in the next 5 minutes or so, but a Dragon Soul is huge for UCD.
Hextech Soul as well. I think it was a lot more beneficial that UCD get it, because the problem was, if QUB get it, they were getting 4 straight Hextech Dragons in a row. So they were stacking Dragons, and they were getting the Hextech Soul if that went long enough. I think UCD had to stop them from at least getting 2 or 3 Hextechs as well.
Yeah, exactly. A Hextech stack there with all the raw damage that it gives to the side of QUB would have also been fairly disastrous. But still, a 3-level lead now for QUB. He's the highest level in the game. He's level 17. Some ask him how he does it. He is that guy. Also a Flame Horizon for all the old heads who know that term. On the side of QUB now, up 100 CS. So yeah, he's just really putting his mark on this game. You know. You give this guy Garen, and he does Garen things, but you know, there is going to be a Baron dance now as well, clearing out vision.
Both teams clearing out the vision right now for the Baron. UCD currently in control at the moment, but QUB trying to get some more to their own down there, trying to get something on a Shpi. Can they? Not at the moment. So at the moment, I think QUB are maybe looking to try and take this Baron. I know they lost a soul, but maybe they can get some objectives of their own. But at the moment, definitely interesting. We see both mid laners towards the bot lane. They both have TP, so it doesn't really matter what they do anyway. Nothing forced just yet, and they're both taking it very slow at the moment.
Yeah, just a little bit more methodical gameplay after a good 10 minutes of fast and furious vibes. So just kind of playing the lanes, you know, directing traffic maybe a little bit, waiting for maybe the Elder Dragon to force the fight, but we do see P-Bob now in the jungle.
Looking for something here. UCSR 99. Nothing's going to happen there, unfortunately, at the moment. And both teams right now just chilling at the moment. They're not really looking for this. We do see, though, Chinese man is topside, but looks like they're all going to look at their recalls, maybe just prepare a bit more, and then just kick it off into Baron in a second.
Yeah, no major flips or anything of the sort. Everyone playing it rather reserved. You know, they know what's on the line here, and they'd like to be in happy positions to fight, and a happy position would be a couple more items on the side of QUB, so they're just not taking any risks here, just trying to clear out the waves as quick as possible. But you know, once one of these team fights breaks out, we are going to see the true nature of what the Hextech Soul offers, as what you asked me picks up a red buff there as well. So yeah, just exciting stuff. Going to be interesting to see how these next fights play out, if Shpi is able to pick up a catch prior to the fight or not. But yeah, as we said, we're kind of directing traffic here as UCD take control of the Baron area.
They're starting it up right now. It looks like it's going to be a bit blind for the side of QUB. They don't know what's going on, but UCD are actually just baiting them now. They've stopped doing what they're doing, and they're just looking for a pick before Baron, which is clever because they take out someone on the side of QUB. They just get it for free.
Yeah, a pick would be advisable, but I do think they have the power to really force a fight here. Obviously, with how a couple of these fights have gone unexpectedly for them, they are rather cautious as to when and when not to engage. But you know, I do think they are also being a little bit too reserved.
But here we go. Paranoia getting popped there. They're looking for the kill onto the Kaisa, but doesn't find what he was asking. Who does blow the killer instinct. Meanwhile, Public and a Vegan trying to fight a lot of members here. A lot of damage coming out. Kelko forced to go golden. Doesn't have the Feather Storm anymore. No protection needed. Down goes one. Down goes Leaf. Down goes potentially three. Down goes three. But they get the Kaisa. But does it matter when Public and a Vegan is alive? No, it does not. And I do believe that might just be the game with these Death Timers.
Game, set, Hex, Tech, Soul, UCD Leviathans there. P-Bot finds the angle, it goes in on the bush, tries to catch out the Milio in time. Not quite able to hit the ulti before the Mordekaiser ulti comes down on him, but regardless, twice, plenty of time, Kelko finds himself in a disadvantaged position. Princeton catches him with a tornado, and then the shock of the Hex Tech Soul takes him down as they are approaching the Nexus towers. They are going to approach the Nexus. USSR 99 has had enough. Game UCDA.
UCDA, second place team so far then. They toned down QUB, put him in place. He said, no sir, I am the second place team. And they're certifying it right now at the moment. And I mean, yeah, so far, it's been really good for the side of UCC. It's going to be a really good one. UCD at the moment, firm performance, and especially from Put Bacon on Vegan. I know he didn't do most damage in the game. That actually goes to Wiggler, but my God, he was 3 levels up at one point on Spee, even when Spee was everywhere on the map. I just think he played it really well.